You've probably been tapping that little lightning bolt on your phone, keeping up with Pi Network, right? I know you're curious to see what's been happening, especially after all this time and all the anticipation. It's been a wild ride since Pi Network first burst onto the scene back in 2019, promising to revolutionize cryptocurrency. What's striking is how the narrative surrounding Pi has shifted over the years. And that's what we're diving into today. A frustrated user's critical look at Pi Network 6 years in. 6 years. Wow. To understand how the initial excitement has given way to a wave of disappointment and distrust, let's rewind back to 2019. The crypto world was still a mysterious landscape for many. Then Pi Network emerged, promising a simple, accessible way to mine cryptocurrency, right from your phone. No need for expensive hardware or technical know-how. Just tap a button and boom, you're part of the future of finance. It was a compelling proposition, a very exciting time for a lot of people. Yeah, and the source paints a vivid picture of that early hope. They describe sharing Pi with their skeptical brother, recruiting friends and family, and joining online forums buzzing with anticipation. It felt like Pi was going to open the doors to cryptocurrency for everyone. It really seemed like it was going to bring crypto to the masses. And it wasn't just blind faith, right? There was a real sense of community, a shared belief that Pi was going to be something big. Our source talks about passionately defending Pi against skeptics who called it a pyramid scheme, predicting that Pi would be worth hundreds once the open network launched. I'm not sure I'd call it blind faith. Back then, the idea of mining crypto on your phone was novel, and Pi's emphasis on community building was incredibly effective. It tapped into this deep desire for financial inclusion, for being part of something revolutionary. That's a really good point. But as we know, the reality of Pi Network hasn't quite lived up to those early expectations. Unfortunately, no. And one of the biggest sources of frustration, as highlighted by our source, has been the constant delays. The mainnet launch, initially slated for 2021, has been pushed back, time and time again. And these aren't just minor setbacks. In the fast-paced world of cryptocurrency, where new projects emerge constantly, delays can be fatal. They erode trust, create uncertainty, and allow competitors to gain ground. The source specifically calls out how each delay was met with vague explanations from the core team, citing things like regulatory compliance and technical scalability. Lots of buzzwords. It almost felt like they were just kicking the can down the road. This lack of transparency is a major red flag in the crypto space. Regulatory hurdles and technical challenges are real, of course. But the core team's communication style, at least as perceived by the source, lacks the openness and accountability that users expect, especially from a project that boasts about decentralization. And it's not just the mainnet launch, right? No. The KYC process has been another huge frustration for many Pi users. Yeah. Our source waited 2 years for KYC approval. 2 years. That's insane. While KYC is a standard procedure in the crypto world, designed to prevent fraud and comply with regulations, most projects strive for a much faster turnaround. A 2-year wait raises serious questions about Pi Network's operational efficiency and ability to scale. The source describes a complex, frustrating process, submitting passports, taking selfies, even a liveness check to prove they were a real person. And then after all that, they hit another wall. What now? A 10-page legal agreement they had to sign just to access their Pi. Oh my God! It feels like a far cry from the initial promise of simplicity and accessibility. And here's the bigger question. If Pi is truly decentralized, why is so much control still in the hands of the core team? Exactly. They're the ones approving KYC applications, setting migration timelines, and ultimately controlling the distribution of Pi. It's a disconnect that's making a lot of users question the project's true nature. Absolutely. And that leads us to another glaring issue, the lack of transparency surrounding their blockchain. After 6 years, there's still no clear understanding of how the Pi blockchain actually works. The source asks some pointed questions. Why is so much of the system hidden? Where's the proof that Pi is a truly decentralized blockchain? And these aren't just technical questions. They strike at the heart of what cryptocurrency is supposed to be about. Transparency is the bedrock of trust in the crypto world. It's what allows users to verify transactions, understand the token supply, and hold developers accountable. Without it, you're essentially asking users to take a leap of faith. And in a space as volatile and prone to scams as cryptocurrency, that's a risky proposition. So, what can Pi Network do to regain the trust they've lost? I mean, is there even a way forward at this point? Well, the source lays out a clear call to action. They're demanding that the core team open the books, show the blockchain, allow independent auditors to verify everything. They want a complete overhaul of the KYC process, with faster approvals and a more streamlined system. Those are certainly steps in the right direction. But it's not just about fixing technical issues. No, it's bigger than that. Pi Network needs to fundamentally change how they communicate with their community. They need to move away from vague statements and embrace a culture of radical transparency. Like total transparency. Exactly. They need to acknowledge the frustrations of their users and engage in open, honest dialogue about the challenges they're facing. It's almost like they need to rebuild the entire foundation of the project. That's a fair assessment. If Pi Network wants any chance of achieving its ambitious goals, they need to prove to their community that they're worthy of their continued support. Actions speak louder than words, especially in the crypto world. The source has a powerful message for those still holding on to Pi, still tapping that lightning bolt every day. They say, if your Pi vanishes because you quit mining, consider it the price of freedom. That's a strong statement. Yeah, but it speaks to the sense of disillusionment and even betrayal that many users are feeling. It really does. It's about reclaiming your agency. Absolutely. Investing your time and energy in projects that inspire confidence. Yes, that's what it's all about. So, as someone who's been following Pi Network for a while now, where do you stand? Is Pi Network a cautionary tale of hype and broken promises? Or is there still a flicker of hope? It's tough to say. The crypto landscape is constantly evolving, and sometimes projects that seem dead in the water can surprise us. But Pi Network has a lot to prove, and the clock is ticking. This whole deep dive has really underscored the importance of critical thinking and due diligence in crypto. It really has. It's easy to get swept up in hype. Oh yeah, especially when a project promises to change the world.